This is healing, then it began.
Well, hello there. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Steph Corder. I am a faith-based health and fitness, health and wellness coach and lifestyle content creator. Still working on that tagline, but I'm so happy that you're here. This is Vlogmas day 4. Not sure when you're watching it, but don't forget, I'm doing 12 days of Vlogmas. So if you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and comment, you do that on every video, you'll have 12 chances of winning some amazing prizes. If you saw from the thumbnail, the title, or that beginning clip, yeah, I have ADHD. I'm just gonna get the elephant out of the room there. I have been no stranger to, and no, I have not shied away from being very open and honest about the fact that I have had mental health struggles. Not trying to confuse the two, but segueing in as like a preface and context. I have struggled with mental health issues for a while. I've actually been diagnosed with clinical depression before, anxiety, seasonal depression. Like last winter, I literally, there were days I didn't even get off my couch. So no stranger to mental health struggles, and no stranger to having anxiety, which is the bridge here, the segue. And for a long time, literally up until like a couple of months ago, I really thought that a lot of my ADHD symptoms were just related to my anxiety and my depression. So that's the first thing. And I'm also going to preface this with, although I have a degree in psychology, I am not a licensed therapist or psychologist or psychiatrist. So none of this is going to be medical, advice. I'm just sharing my story, my experiences, and the things that I am doing to help with my ADHD. So just wanted to get that out there. So a couple, everyone knows about ADHD, but I really feel like for the longest time, it just has been something that women, first of all, just aren't diagnosed with. You know what it is? I feel like COVID, it was terrible, but I do feel like mental health and just different issues and struggles that people have, especially women, were forced to come to light during COVID. And I know it's 4 years later, and I finally feel like we're really having good conversations about mental health and different things. But anyway, for the longest time, I'll be honest with you, up until a few months ago when I was talking with my therapist, and she was like, Steph, I feel like a lot of the stuff that you're talking about actually sounds like you might have ADHD. And when she first said that, I was like, my knee-jerk reaction, I'll be honest, was like, no, boys have that. That's a guy thing. Women can have ADHD. Women can have mental health issues, and yeah. So that's the first thing is, women, actually probably more women than we realize have ADHD. It just is really underdiagnosed. So if you think you have ADHD or some of the symptoms I'm going to talk about, definitely reach out and get some help. I use BetterHelp. They are, they have licensed therapists, and then they also can, recommend psychiatrists and things like that. So I'll leave the link below for the BetterHelp platform. But so yeah, a few months ago, I was talking with my therapist, and I was like, I was describing how different things, I couldn't, going into the office is up until very recently, I dreaded it. I hated it. I couldn't sit still in my chair at office. I get very anxious. I was fidgety. I just couldn't focus. I had to walk around. I would interrupt people, and then I'd get frustrated because they were trying to work, and I was like, well, why am I here? Let me just go back to my little bubble of being home. I would either hyperfixate on certain tasks and forget to do other things. I would have high highs where I'd get this burst of energy and I'd do a lot, and then the opposite would happen where I wouldn't do anything, so then I'd feel guilty for not doing anything, which then maybe do even less, which this vicious cycle of these symptoms. And thankfully, I'm so grateful that my therapist pointed it out, and she was like, I know that historically you think it's anxiety, but it might actually be like more than that. I was like, oh, geez. So I started to do some research in Google and things like that. I live in New Jersey, so the way that I did it was my therapist was like, you need to go to your primary care doctor. I went to her, she confirmed, she was like, yeah, I think you have ADHD. And then she recommended, I used Circle Medical. It was like a telehealth, spoke with someone who specialized in ADHD and other like disorders like that. And then I had one in-person visit. If you saw the first clip of this video was me finishing that appointment. She officially diagnosed me with ADHD and then recommended some medication for me to start. So that's how I did it. And I'm feeling like, honestly, at first I was like, I really didn't know how to feel about it, but I'm super happy to kind of have that, like, because now I can do something about it. And what better time to focus on your mental health and disorders and getting everything in order than this time of year, right? It's the end of the year, probably when you're watching this, and we all have big goals for next year and things like that. So I know a lot of the focus always happens to be on physical fitness, like for the new year. A lot of people have weight loss goals and, or they have career, like different goals, but like a lot of times I don't think we actually think about like our mental health as like a bucket to have goals with. So for me, my decision to get on the medication and start it now is to prep myself and hit the ground running for next year, because I have big physical goals, career goals, goals for my business, this YouTube channel, all these things I want to accomplish. But if my mental health and my ADHD isn't under control, I'm going to be severely hindered working toward those goals, if that makes sense. So now let's talk about some things that I have found in the last few weeks, and just like things that I have found that really help me to regulate my mental health, keep me on track going toward my goals. Not every day is going to be perfect, but these routines, these things that I'm going to talk about really have helped me and hopefully will help you. Definitely comment below if you have other things that you do that kind of help you, if you also have ADHD or anything like that. But let's get into it. So one of the things that I do that I need to do to keep myself sane and everything is to type stuff up and write it down so that I don't forget stuff and that it is, in an organized way. I think a lot of times we keep a lot of stuff in our heads. Just do a brain dump and organize it. You'll thank yourself later. So the first things that work for me is establishing a routine. From the morning routine, a daily routine of things. Every day is not going to look the same, but there are staple things that you can do every morning, every throughout the day, every evening, to set yourself up for success. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that my morning routine includes me getting up at 5 a.m., going for a run, meditating, and doing all the aesthetic things. It doesn't. No. I usually get up around 7, 7:30, maybe 8. I make a cup of protein coffee, I make my bed, I wash my face, and then I go and work out. Like, that's what works for me and my routine. The time you get up and the things that are included in your morning routine should be specific to you. Do not let any influencer or anybody tell you that you need to have this aesthetic, perfect routine. And if you're not getting up at a certain time and you're not doing certain things, then you're setting yourself up for failure. No, the whole point is just to have a routine, right? The next thing that really helps me is setting micro goals, right? Like, you can have big, like I'm going to do another video on my vision board for 2025, and it's got some big, grandiose, scary goals, right? But then you need to like kind of reverse engineer it and like work backwards and have micro goals, right? Like, you can have a goal for a certain amount of money you want to make next year, or where you want your career to be, your relationship, whatever it is. That's the end goal. And then break it down into like, okay, what do I need to accomplish each quarter of the year to get toward that goal? Okay, and then what in each quarter, what needs to happen each month, each week, each day for me to move the needle forward? And then once you have those daily goals, then it's like, all right, I need to do these 3 things to move the needle, right? Like micro goals, things that are attainable and that can set yourself up for success, not only because they're moving the needle forward, but also because you get that momentum, that dopamine hit, that compounding interest of day after day, I did these things, and then I did these things, and then I did these, and then before you know it, you've taken a big chunk out of your goal. My therapist tells me, Steph, what's the best way to eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Another thing that I do is practice mindfulness. And for me, that is spending time with God, spending time in the Word, praying, really just connecting with God and just like voicing and verbalizing the things that are on my mind, the goals I have, saying specific prayers, getting into the Word, studying, feeling like I have that connection with God, right? And that I'm faithing my way through life. You got to pray. You got to be mindful. You have to get closer to Jesus. He is there for you. He is walking right beside you, and you need to utilize him on the good days, the bad days, and the in-between days. Practice that mindfulness. Get your prayer life in order, where it is not even routine. It's second nature for you to pray and to reach out to God no matter what's going on throughout your days. Next thing is engaging in physical activity. I have my Fit by Steph business. I am a health and fitness coach. I've been doing this for almost 5 years now. Actually, next year will be 5 years. Physical fitness, physical activity is huge. Whether it is a walk, strength training, yoga, stretching, get your body moving. I'm not saying you got to go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm not saying you got to do 15 pull-ups a day. I'm saying find what works for you. For me, it's a combination of going for a few walks a week, especially when the weather is nice, getting that sunlight on my face, clearing my head, especially if you have ADHD or things where like your head, there's just a lot going on. Go for a walk. It doesn't even matter if it's like 5 minutes. Go for a walk. It will clear your head, I promise you. And then strength training for me, I like to be physically fit. I don't have abs year round, but I like to be physically fit, healthy, nourish my body. That's another thing that's on here, is nourishing your body with good whole foods. If you need any help with your health and fitness, your nutrition, or your workouts, what to do, the link is below. I am taking on new clients for the new year. But finding ways to be physically active that work for you, whether that's getting a walking pad, going for walks, going to the gym, working out at home, find ways to be physically active. It really will help to clear. The thing that I was talking about is reaching out for support. For me, I have friends and family that I talk to and support me and that I can work things through with. And then I also use the BetterHelp. I think it's a great platform. You can get matched with a therapist that is specific to your goals and your needs. Whether you say you want a woman therapist, a male therapist, a therapist that is trained in trauma, or is a Christian, or is black, or whatever like demographic you're looking for, you can put that when you do the little questionnaire, and they will match you with a therapist, and then you can kind of find the right fit. You can message your therapist, you can do video calls, voice calls. They send you resources. Like my therapist will send me like journal prompts and different worksheets and stuff. It's a really great platform. Definitely check it out. This isn't sponsored by BetterHelp or anything, but I just think it's a really, really great platform to use when you need that support, especially if you may not have that in your life. Another thing that I've started to do is journaling, getting my thoughts out. It doesn't have to be aesthetic. I know journaling can sound kind of, hokey. Open up a journal. I have a Faith That You Make It journal. I will link it below. Get your thoughts out. Sometimes it won't even make any sense, but get your thoughts out, how you're feeling, what you have going on. It could be a to-do list. It can be anything. Just get your thoughts out and figure out what is all in your head. Brain dump it. Something else that I like to do on the topic of journaling and writing things down is I like to make not a to-do list. I do make to-do lists to help me keep me organized, but a go-to list. A list of things that I know boost my mood, make me feel better when I'm down, make me feel accomplished. Whether for me, my go-to list is go for a walk. That's usually my default thing to do, no matter what the weather is, because if the weather's bad, then I not only went for the walking, got physical activity, but then I feel accomplished for having overcome the bad weather. So that's a little pro tip. Whatever is on your go-to list, whether it's calling your mom or watching your favorite show. For me, it's The Office. I love The Office. Comment below if you love The Office. You know, whatever it is. I would not honestly put social media on your go-to list. That's actually the next thing, is to limit social media. But on your go-to list should be things outside of social media, because you can find yourself getting into comparison trap. You know, you say you're gonna watch funny reels, but inevitably you see something else, and then it's just a slippery slope. So I just wouldn't put that on my go-to list. And then the next thing is to limit the social media. For me, I really have to look at social media, especially if I have big goals of growing my business next year and taking it full time and hopefully being able to quit my corporate job. So for me, I need to look at social media as a business, as an avenue to getting more clients, you know, sharing my message and impacting and helping people become the healthiest versions of themselves. So if I'm on social media just scrolling to scroll, that's not helping my business. I'm falling into the comparison trap, and I'm not doing something to move the needle forward for my business. So for me, on my to-do list is X amount of time on social media to interact with people who I might be able to help. Interact, you know, like post things, create content, that sort of thing. But it's not to just scroll to scroll, okay? So, and then last thing is prioritizing sleep and nutrition, right? Like I said earlier, fueling my body with whole foods, good foods, things that are going to give me the energy and the sustenance that I need to be physically fit, to film a bunch of things, to create content, to be there for my clients, right? Like I'm a coach, like I need to, when I'm feeling my best, that's how I can help my clients get better, is by giving my best, right? And then along with that comes getting good sleep, having good sleep hygiene, having a nighttime routine. Again, reading, turning off the TV at a certain time, shutting down the social media, getting off my phone, drinking some, you know, herbal tea, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's taking a nice hot shower or a bath, but it's winding down and getting those 7-8 hours of sleep that you need. If you're somebody who has to get up early, maybe you have kids or your schedule, just you have to get up early, then I would definitely recommend pushing back your bedtime and going to sleep sooner. Okay. All right. So concluding this video with, if you feel like you might have some symptoms of ADHD, or it's a little bit more than anxiety, I would definitely reach out and talk with somebody. I thought long and hard about sharing this. And then I thought, if I didn't share this, there would be people out there who would not see it and still feel like they're on an island by themselves, like they're still alone. If I have to be the guinea pig that shares about my mental health struggles, if shares that I have ADHD, shares about my business, the ups and the downs and whatever it is, I'm willing to do that because it will help other people. And that's how you have to think about it when you have gifts and a calling and things that God is putting on your heart to share or to do or to put out there. If you think about it this way, if you don't do it, you don't put it out there, you're not helping people. By putting this out there, I know that if I just impact just one person and just somebody else feels like they're not alone in this mental health struggle, having ADHD, having all these anxiety and depression and these different things, I need to help people. That is my calling, is to help people become the healthiest versions of themselves. That's why I coach people. That's why I do this. So, I don't care. I don't care if somebody watches this and goes, oh, ugh, I don't know, she should have shared that. I know I need to. I know that is my calling, is to help people and to be an example. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I am doing. So let's conclude this video. It's Vlogmas Day 4. Don't forget, I did 12 days of Vlogmas, so don't forget to comment on each video. I'm going to do big giveaways as just a thank you to everyone being here. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. That is a prerequisite for the giveaways. And just please share this with somebody, who may need to watch it and just needs a little boost. And just share this, please help me share this message with anybody and everybody. so like I can continue to be a light in this world and help other people. I don't care if that sounds corny or hokey. I know it's what God's put me on this earth to do, and it's what I'm gonna keep doing, and it's what I'm gonna do next year. And I could just see this fit my stuff, my faith until you make it, you know, mantra just impacting so many people. So that's what I'm gonna keep doing. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. And do not forget, we are going to faith it until we make it.
Then it began.